China welcomed its iron brother Pakistan with a grand ceremony and witnessed the signing of dozens of agreements. The two sides reaffirmed their mutual support.
China firmly supports Pakistan's legitimate rights to defend its national sovereignty and territorial integrity. China also supports Pakistan's drive for national revitalization and development to prosperity.
I thought I would start by thanking China for being an all-weather friend. All-weather friend means a friend in need. So when you are really, you know your friends in difficult times. And so China yet again stood with us, and so on behalf of my country, I want to thank you.
The two sides also agreed to push forward with development of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. The corridor is a flagship project that includes energy and infrastructure. It was officially launched in 2013 under the Belt and Road Initiative.
Based on the existing Gwadar port and other projects, the two sides will focus on the expansion of CPEC development, such as industrial parks, and extend the corridor to western areas of Pakistan.
Imran Khan is also scheduled to meet with President Xi Jinping on Wednesday. This is Khan's third visit to China since taking office in 2018, and the Prime Minister said earlier that he hopes this visit can be a milestone to further push China-Pakistan relations.
China and the U.S. are gearing up for the high-level trade talks on Thursday. The 15-month trade war drags on, and the events this week are driving a deeper wedge between the world's two largest economies. On Monday, Washington blacklisted 28 Chinese entities, including some of China's top AI firms. The blacklist includes 20 Chinese public security bureaus and 8 companies, including video surveillance provider Hikvision and AI startup SenseTime. The U.S. Commerce Department says it targeted the bureaus and companies for their involvement in alleged mistreatment of minorities in Xinjiang. The action bars the firms from buying components from U.S. companies without U.S. governmental approval, similar with what Washington has done to Huawei. A spokesman for China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs responded to the development.
Xinjiang does not have a so-called human rights issues. What the U.S. is doing is to interfere in China's internal affairs. The counterterrorism measures in Xinjiang are to prevent terrorism crimes. The measures meet Chinese and international law and are supported by 25 million Xinjiang residents.
Companies are also making their voices heard. Video surveillance maker Hikvision strongly opposes the decision, adding that punishing the company will only negatively impact the U.S. Alibaba-backed SenseTime is deeply disappointed by the move, saying they follow all relevant laws where they operate and that they've developed an AI code of ethics to ensure proper usage of their products. NI Flytech, known for its voice recognition software, said they had already anticipated the ban and that it wouldn't affect daily operations.
After a weekend of large-scale violence and rioting, relative peace returned to Hong Kong on Monday. But life is far from normal in the once vibrant metropolis.
I'm now in Causeway Bay, Hong Kong's iconic bustling commercial center. Now it's about 8 p.m. It should be the busiest hour of the night. But now, if you look around, though the neon lights and some of the big LED screens are still shining and showing advertisements, many of the businesses here are closed, including the big shopping malls, some small shops like the jewelry shops and watch stores.
The industries and commercial communities have been greatly affected. Many shops are hurt. We have visited many small and medium enterprises. They have suffered great losses. We feel deeply sorry for them.
Lights on, no people. That's the typical thing at this Apple store recently. Wandering around here, you can see that the streets that used to be full of pedestrians and tourists are now half empty. Most of the shops here close at 5 p.m. because employees need to catch the last subway home. Many people also wait patiently in long queues for a bus home, feeling very frustrated about the inconvenience that has turned their lives upside down. Right behind me is the Causeway Bay metro station. It's one of the 54 metro stations that is closed today. And you can still see the effects of the fires from the protests here. And the other 39 stations closed around 6 p.m. The subway system has had serious restrictions over the past 2 weekends due to the extreme vandalism. The rail operator is engaged in intense repair work now.
On Saturday, Hong Kong's entire subway system was shut down for the first time in its 40-year history. The city was almost at a standstill.
Just think about it. Now it's so inconvenient, whether you want to take a subway or do any other things. So much destruction and severe vandalism. I think it's the worst case of violence in Hong Kong's history.
Meanwhile, many companies with links to the Chinese mainland have become a new target for the protesters.
I have 3 sons and they all want a farm, and I haven't enough land or not making enough money for them all. So
the Edgertons have farmed this border country for 400 years or more. John Edgerton is the latest generation. He worries about his children's future, and he worries about Brexit, about the French market for his lambs, and about a possible US trade deal that could undercut his beef. And 25% of his earnings is from artificial insemination, making house calls to service other farms with bull semen.
I have to cross the border up to 10 times in the one go to get from one customer to another.
His clients are also in the north, but the border here is so winding that he has to cross it repeatedly to move about.
Crossing into the UK now.
We tried the journey ourselves, driving in a straight line. With a hard border, each crossing would need a checkpoint, and there are hundreds of crossings.
So now we're back in Ireland, and the signs are in kilometres again. That purple sign, welcome to Fermanagh and Omagh. We're back in the UK. The yellow markings on the road have been replaced again by the UK style, which is white ones. So now we've actually become the border on this road. To the right, the Republic of Ireland, and to the left, the UK. The road markings are yellow again. We're back in Ireland. Okay, welcome to Fermanagh and Omagh. That's our 7th crossing in 9.7 miles going in one direction.
It's beautiful country here, but before the Good Friday Agreement, these hills were dangerous and violent.
It was not uncommon to come across a group of British soldiers moving through the undergrowth, combat formation, weapons loaded. Those were the bad old days, and no one wants those back again.
farming is so uncertain as it is, and to not know where your sheep's going to go to next year, or where your cattle's going to end up, it's hard to make investments. It's hard to be positive.
The people here have known violence and now they know peace. They don't know what a no-deal Brexit will bring. What they do know is that no one wants the ghosts of the past returning to haunt the present again.
Whether you're a family of cyclists or scooters, maybe you just want to try out your unconventional bike, or you just want to paddle down the street on a skateboard, or you just like to parade in a fancy costume, Open Streets Los Angeles has something to offer literally everyone.
People need to get out and exercise and move, and America's the worst case of heart problems and diabetes, and we need to be active.
It is such a great opportunity to see parts of Los Angeles that I might not have the opportunity to see. Instead of maybe zipping through on the freeway, I have a chance to go look at the stores and look at the murals and the artwork.
And that was a primary goal for Ciclavia in organizing this event. Its director Romal Pascual says he hopes to promote interaction between otherwise isolated communities.
Here we are at Ciclavia, 6 miles of streets connecting about 10 communities in 40 minutes. We don't have those imaginary walls that we normally have when we're in a car.
But Open Streets also becomes a platform for a variety of groups and activists pushing for a clean and sustainable environment. Los Angeles is typically known for its ambitious programs fighting climate change, but environmentalists say it still falls short of meeting carbon emission targets, particularly in the transportation sector.
We're trying to reach net zero carbon, and so part of that is solving what cars run on, but part of it is also getting people to drive less. And events like this are a beginning step for people seeing what it's like to drive less.
For America's second largest city, where most people rely on cars, open streets is not an easy concept to embrace. But people still manage to get to where they're going without leaving carbon footprints.